I'm just reading about a guy who is doing nothing. At no point when I was reading this did I enjoy this. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ray, this is Ray Reads, and today we're going to be talking about my worst books of 2025 and what to read instead. In terms of worst books, these are 4 books which I was excited to read, and as I was reading them, I just was becoming more disappointed by each page, and at the end I was just like, I don't know what we're doing here. And not that it was a waste of my time, but a lot of these I was just insanely disappointed in terms of the execution. It's one of my favorite videos to do every year because I like, you know, navigating people and what to prioritize in their TBR. First book I'll talk about that I'll casually mention is the Unmapping. I got the arc for this book because I was excited for it, and at no point did I understand what was going on or care. And I find it really hard to DNF arcs, so I just kept on going, hoping it would get better, and it did not. And Mapping follows New York City. Some parts of the city literally just get like switched. You wake up and then like the whole entire like layout in New York City is like different. They don't know why this is happening. I could not tell you after reading the book why it's happening. I don't really know what this book is trying to say. I thought the Unmapping would be about people coming together and about like real deep conversations, but it was just a mashup of the most random info dumps, like characters. I didn't like any of the characters. There wasn't any kind of growth within the characters. The relationships were not interesting, and then there was no tension and major pacing issues. So the book I would recommend instead of this is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. April May sees this robot thing on the street, and then she makes a video about it, and then it goes viral. And then turns out these are like aliens, and she's now become like the ambassador from Earth to like figure out what's going on with these aliens and what they want. It's honestly like a fun analysis on like April coming to terms with like all of a sudden being famous and figuring out all these clues and trying to find out what the aliens want. There's this part where basically everybody on Earth's dreams are connected and they're like trying to solve a puzzle together, like all of humanity, and I thought that was just so wholesome and so cool. An Academy for Liars, which I haven't talked about on this channel yet. I listened to this all in audiobook, and because I read an audiobook, I know that I understood every single part of it. This is an adult dark academia fantasy book, and it involves our main girl, Lennon, who is an adult, and after her engagement breakup, she gets a call from this mysterious number, and she's invited to go to the school to learn about the art of persuasion. And unfortunately, the dark academia is not really exploring anything, and it's just there for vibes. I'm not totally mad about dark academia being for vibes in young adult. I feel like it can kind of be fun there, but when you go in terms of adult dark academia, I'm really expecting there to be some sort of substance beyond the vibes. In my opinion, a well-done dark academia involves the main character either being taken down by the system or taking down the system themselves. And in this book, she did neither. And the ending was just really weird. You also have one of my least favorite choices of all time, which is like an age gap romance and a teacher-student relationship. And to be fair, they're both adults in this. That makes it better. I didn't like them together. I thought their scenes together were weird. You find out that love interest has also been groomed himself. So I don't know what the author is trying to say about this. I hated it. This relationship took up so much of the book, especially the ending. I hate the relationship too because the entire premise of this book is that she just got broken up with. She never finished her college degree, so this is like what she gets for like not finishing her college degree and depending on a man. Now all of a sudden half of this book is about this man. Why would you do this? The next thing is I really didn't like the main character herself. I don't mind unlikable main characters, but she was so unlikable because she was so contradictory, and in some instances she would be like, oh my god, like I can't do this power. Everybody's asking me to do this. I don't know why everybody's like expecting me to do this. Like I'm new here. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And then like a page later, they're like, oh, maybe you can't do any of this. And she'll immediately switch and she'll be like, what do you mean? Like I'm the chosen one. I have the most power. I beat all these people in this class and I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm like, you can either be weak or strong. Like no, not in the same chapter. Like no. Throughout this book, I was like, okay, like this is vibey. This is mysterious. Like ooh, can't wait for the ending. And the ending was just like really underwhelming and disappointing and focusing on stuff that I did not care about, including like her relationships with her classmates, which like throughout this whole book they're like all competing, and in the end it's like randomly wholesome, and I just found it so weird because the main character didn't deserve this. Like, nobody's been working for this the entire book. I like the idea of dark academia so much because it talks about the desperation of students that get into academia. Academia is marketed as something that can help like anybody as long as like, you're smart enough, you work hard enough. It's especially like applicable to Lennon's experience right now, where she's at a low point in her life and there's a calling, literally, like she gets a call. The whole idea of persuasion is that this entire school academic setting has persuaded these students into joining them. We also never really find out about the magic system. I don't understand how this magic system fits into like the real world. Do normal people know about this magic or not? Like, how does this affect like politicians and stuff? The book I recommend instead of this is Babel by R. Kong, which is the only other dark academia I've read, but I really enjoyed it. And Babel is about this language program in Oxford that intakes students from all around the world, and the magic system involves the translation of language. Dark academia is very integrated with colonialism and imperialism and all that jazz, and we see how this program intakes these students that are so desperate. The effects of this program directly affect colonization. We see these students grapple with kind of working for their oppressor and being a traitor to like their people and their land by helping these academics take more from themselves and their land. And I think that is so interesting and so cool. I think it's a really great beginner dark academia. Because what I have on this list is Will Grayson by John Green, and I tried to get into John Green this year, hated his fiction stuff, but loved his nonfiction. One of the Will Graysons is written by John Green, one of them is written by David Levitan, and the John Green one is just a typical John Green protagonist, but it's honestly the most boring one. Will Grayson, written by David Levitan, is also like this high school kid in a town over, and he is depressed, and he's dealing with his queerness and how to be comfortable with himself. And these two Will Graysons intersect one day, and I could not tell you what happened because this book was so boring. It felt like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book in like the worst ways. You're following this guy who's like living a normal life, kind of getting into wacky things, but it's just like, I'm just reading about a guy who is doing nothing. I couldn't tell you what happened in this book. The way that their lives intersect is just not interesting. There's just no attention in this book. What I would recommend instead of this is, honestly, I really don't know what to recommend instead of this, but I'm gonna go with All My Rage by Sawa Tahir, because this is a book that I read a long time ago, but I loved it. And this is about two people in high school who used to be childhood friends. They're kind of like reconnecting back after something. It's about like how their lives like impacted each other and how they're like going through life together now. And I just found that so much more interesting. And the whole idea of like two people impacting each other's lives in such a way, I feel like you almost kind of need like a time gem for that. So my other kind of recommendation is Normal People by Sally Rooney. All these two people throughout high school and like beyond college, and they keep intersecting. It's honestly just like an off and off again relationship, but when they intersect in high school, you can see the effects that they had on each other when they first meet in college, and then when they have a relationship during college, you can see how they're affecting each other. I think it's a really cool way to see characters' progressions. Final book, aka the worst book I read in 2025, was actually one that I read recently, and that's The Thrashers by Julie Soto. And to be fair, at no point when I was reading this did I enjoy this, but I just kept reading because I find it really hard to DNF thrillers because I at least just want to know what's happening. Thrashers follows this main girl of high school who is part of this like popular group in her school, and this girl who like tried to get in her group recently has been found dead, and it's like by suicide, and all the clues are pointing that their friend group named the Thrashers did it. The ending was so bad. It like kind of explained things, kind of didn't, because it turns out this is like #1 book of a series, and I honestly don't know what the other books in this series are gonna look like. Like, is it the same mystery? Is it more? Like, I'm so confused. Our main character in this is a doormat, and she doesn't really like being part of this popular people friend group, but she's in it anyway because like her one only friend is in it. And throughout the book, you'll just see like the entire popular group just like exclude her and leave her out, but she still keeps going back to them for whatever reason. And there weren't really twists in this book. It was just the police being incompetent. Our main character was like a little bit involved with the mystery, but for some reason she was trying to protect her friend group, And even at the end of the book, I don't know why. Because of this book specifically, I'm not gonna read thrillers for like a really long time. I just can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't read an entire book of hyping up only to the ending, and only for the ending to be like super unsatisfying. I'm just not doing this anymore. But the thriller I would recommend instead of this is One of Us is Lying, and I read this a couple years ago and it was so addicting. We follow is kind of Breakfast Club style group, and they're in detention. The smart girl, the jock, the like bad boy, and one of the kids in detention ends up dying, and all of the other kids are suspects. Throughout the book, you like find things out about each of the characters, but then all of them like kind of band together to solve the mystery. And I found the actual ending of the mystery intriguing. I like delving into these characters and going deeper beyond their stereotypes, and their relationships with each other were interesting and wholesome. So that's gonna be it for my worst books of 2025. Very much less passionate than last year. Stay tuned for more of my end of the year content, including November, December wrap up, and my ranking 2025 wire releases video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much.